We start with some breaking news out of the transfer portal after signing and enrolling with Oregon just last month. Quarterback Jaron Sagapolutele is expected to enter the transfer portal. Our 24/7 Sports national recruiting analyst Brandon Huffman, who broke this news, joins us with more.
Yeah, Emily, quite crazy news coming out of Eugene, Oregon, where Keawe Sagapolutele, the #1 player in Hawaii, who was a longtime commit to Cal, flipped his decision and his commitment to Oregon to sign with the Ducks just 4 weeks ago, is expected to enter the NCAA transfer portal, according to sources. Now, Sagapolutele enrolled at Oregon after signing. He moved down there last Thursday, the day after Christmas, traveled with the Ducks to Pasadena, was on the sidelines for Oregon at the Rose Bowl, had a couple of practices with Oregon, but late Thursday night, he submitted his paperwork to the University of Oregon, where he is expected to be in the portal by the end of the weekend. He had 48 hours from the time he submitted his paper for Oregon to enter him into the portal, with his bowl game being after December 28th. He had 5 days from the end of that bowl game to go into the portal. So a big shocker. Oregon with the shocker on signing day to flip him from Cal and to sign him is now expected to lose him to the portal. And the school that I'd say keep an eye on is the school he was committed to for a long time with Cal. They lost their starting quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. He's going to Indiana. They did not sign a quarterback in the 2025 class. That could be a potential landing spot for him, a very likely potential landing spot for him. But there will be other schools involved, schools that have lost quarterbacks of their own, schools that could be still losing quarterbacks in the coming days following their bowl games. But devastating news for Oregon to lose the #1 player in the state. But this will certainly be something to track over the next couple of days.
Well, as you heard from Huff, players are still entering the transfer portal, but the winter window did close last weekend for all teams that aren't playing in bowls or a grad transfer or maybe lose their head coach. So this is what the top 10 player rankings look like right now. Oklahoma lands the #1 player, quarterback John Mateer, and the only available player in that top 10 is USC wide receiver Zachariah Branch. So obviously a lot of teams are going to be after him, which is why we welcome in our college football insider, Matt Zenitz. Let's start with the highest ranked available player, Zachariah Branch. What is the latest in his recruitment?
Yeah, so originally this looked like a two-team battle between Georgia and Arizona State. And honestly, if you had asked me going back a week or two ago, I would have thought that by now we would have a decision on where Zach and his brother Zion Branch would be going. But ultimately, after their visit to Arizona State, that the family and the brothers decided that it was worth looking into taking additional visits before making a final decision. There have been other schools that have been trying to get involved, that they are coming off a trip now to Miami, and there are some other high-end programs that continue to try to become factors in this recruitment also, including Tennessee and Texas.
On the other side of the ball, I want to hit on cornerback Tacario Davis. He is the top corner in the portal right now. You might remember he entered the portal last winter when his coach left, but ended up staying in Tucson, back in the portal this offseason. So what are you hearing as far as his future?
Yeah. The biggest question with Tacario had been, first of all, whether he was actually going to remain in college for another year or head to the NFL. And in the last couple of days, we've gotten more clarity on that. And Chris Hummer's done a great job being all over this on his end also. But it's become clear in the last couple of days that Tacario's plan at this point is to return to college for another year instead of leaving for the NFL. And the school that has continued to come up as the primary one to keep an eye on right now is Washington. He played under Jed Fish, the current Washington coach, when Jed was at Arizona. And Tacario is set to visit Jed and Washington coming up this weekend. And at this point, they are the favorite, although there are some other programs, including Michigan, that are working to be involved with Tacario also.
Washington also announcing today a new defensive coordinator, Ryan Walters, the former head coach at Purdue. Meanwhile, Florida State, it's been a tough offseason for them in terms of losing edge players. Patrick Payton goes to LSU, now Marvin Jones Jr. also in the portal. So who are some schools to keep an eye on with him?
So first of all, I've been strangely quiet with Marvin, especially when you're dealing with a former five-star recruit that had some production this year at Florida State for really the better part of the last couple of weeks. It had been extremely quiet on my end. But that's now changed in the last couple of days. He took a visit to Oklahoma yesterday, had been set to visit Penn State, but then ultimately that trip was canceled and now is visiting Texas today instead. So coming off visit to Norman, now visiting Oklahoma's arch rival with Texas today. But if you talk to people that worked with him this season at Florida State, have continued on my end, just through some of those conversations, to get good feedback on Marvin. Had 4 sacks this year. They feel like he has NFL ability. I've heard good things about him as a teammate, a person, and you're starting to see more just in terms of what some of the possibilities could be for him now as far as potential next step.
All right, those are 3 players that's all the time we had to hit on. But Zenitz, I think you posted the other day, over 2,000 players hit the portal in the winter window.
That's a lot.
Yeah, thank you for keeping up with all of them. We do appreciate it. Matt Zenitz, you're the best. We are recapping all the action from the winter window Monday, January 6th. You can tune in to the Transfer Portal show live at 1 Eastern on the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel and live on X.